Hey, welcome back to Steve Reads a Comic. What's up, Steve?
Hey, Shawn. Hey, Rob. How's it going?
Good.
What's up, Bobby?
What do you know?
Nothing new.
Nothing
That's
new.
Uh,
I got a new route back where when we first moved to Memphis when Rob was already here. Remember when we just showed up with two cats and said, "Hey, Rob, we're living with you now." Remember that?
Yeah, my one
Yeah.
apartment.
So my new route's right over there where we used to live. It's pretty crazy. I'm driving down memory lane every day now.
Like,
Is it any better?
The neighborhood?
The route. Like,
Oh,
are you still working till 8 o'clock at night?
well, just now because I'm getting it kind of cleaned up. It's there's been different people on it for about a month and a half. So once I get it good and cleaned up, it'll be nice. I won't have to work till 7 o'clock every night for
So
sure.
you saying your coworkers sucked, or what are you saying there?
Well, no, yeah. I mean, I suck. I gave up a long time ago, and like
Okay.
they're worse than me. So like it's really bad out there. So I just been cleaning up a whole bunch of fucking stales and shit. And yeah, but once I get it cleaned up, it'll be sweet. It won't be too bad. But it's just it's dude, it's gonna be bad for me because there's all these Mexican like authentic Mexican places in the back of some hole in the wall gas station, but the food is so good. I'm gonna gain at least 45 pounds this year just on this route, man. I had some hot. I was working at one of the stores today, and it was smelling so good. I was like, "Do you guys got quesadillas or anything?" And she's like, "No, this is all Honduran food." And I'm like, "All right." So I was like, "What do you suggest?" She's like, "These Honduran tacos," and it's like a taco, but it's rolled up, so it's kind of like a flauta or whatever they call them. But they put like some kind of homemade salsa on top, and this cheese. It's like it looks like Parmesan cheese, but it doesn't taste like sawdust. It tastes like real cheese, So they put, oh man, I'm just shit. I got done with that store. I'm sitting there in the truck just shoving that in my face. I was like, I love my new route.
You know that Parmesan cheese tastes good if you get the
No, I'm
real
talking about the
Parmesan
craft.
cheese.
No,
Yeah.
I'm talking about craft
Okay.
Parmesan cheese.
I'll eat that too.
It looks like that. It's not.
I got you.
That's what I was trying to explain. It's not like,
Powdery.
yeah, not like shaved, not like real shaved Parmesan
With
cheese.
sawdust in it. Yeah.
Right, exactly. But yeah, and my regular truck broke down this week, and I had to get a spare, and the spare is an air conditioned truck. I've been there for 10 years. I've never had a truck with air conditioning.
The spares are air conditioned?
Yeah.
Dude, how are you not rioting over there? Fuck that shit.
That was the one that the spare that I got was actually broke down 2 days ago, and they just fixed it, and the only thing they had was that one. So I was like, oh yes. So they didn't even have time to give it back to the normal route. So I got it. I was like, oh,
okay.
It's beautiful. Yeah, but normally a spare is like some old diesel that every time you hit a bump, it feels like the shocks are going to go through the floorboards.
Kind of like my truck.
Exactly. But yeah, that's what I've been doing this week. What about you guys?
Living the
I
dream.
brought back memories though, talking about living over there. I don't know. Why do I keep thinking Shelby Oaks? Is that a thing?
No. It was Macon Road in Tutwiler. We were right over there.
Okay.
Well, that's where we moved to. You talking about where we moved to?
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot. You lived
I had to find a place for more people.
Right. I'm thinking of the apartment that Rob lived in. We stayed for like...
Yeah, my bad.
I forgot. We were only there like 2 weeks or something.
That was
a short amount of time.
Yeah, we didn't move over to Berkeley until we got that new place after Rob's apartment.
Yeah. I remember what I remember about Rob's apartment. There was a lot of stuff I remember, but one thing I remember is I was like, Steve and I one day, I don't know why. I'm guessing this had to be Steve's idea 100%. We went and played tennis. I had never played tennis before in my life. And it was like the hardest thing I've ever done. Like, it was like, wow, this looks so much easier on TV.
Right?
Yeah. Steve was just crushing me. Steve was just like, oh yeah. He put the ball wherever he wanted to. So like if I was playing up by the net, guess where the ball was going? You know what I mean? If I was playing back, guess where the ball was going?
Yeah,
It was
because
nowhere near me.
Rob's apartment had tennis courts, right?
Something, or they were near there or something. I don't remember what the deal was exactly, but I knew we were staying there, and for whatever reason, we ended up playing tennis. I assume it was part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that must have been my brief 1 to 2 years where I played tennis. So you caught me in that time.
Hey, shut up! What is happening?
Yeah, I remember looking for apartments, and there was a guy I worked with at. I think I was working at Home Depot at the time. I know HQ or somewhere.
Can you get Sam?
And
A blanket over Sam?
He was like, "Yeah, I got a couple rentals." I was like, we walked in and like fucking mildew in the bathtub, and toilet was like nasty. I was like, "Dude, this fucking guy's a slumlord."
and we're
Evidently, there was a lot of that. And so I called back. You know, I said, "Yeah, you know, we looked at it. It was over in that area, but I said, you know, no thanks, but no thanks. You know, it's not really up to my standards."
I remember I went with you that day.
Yeah,
and we
you
kind of
remember how
looked
nasty it was.
Yeah, we looked at each other and we're like,
I was like, I can't shower in there.
We're like, it is cheap.
I remember his wife calling back, and she was like, "We'll fix it up. I am so sorry. I can't believe," like, she didn't know he was a slumlord. I was cracking up. She was so embarrassed, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know how we found that place, but it was okay. I mean, the neighborhood wasn't that bad, actually, until I got robbed. All my belongings were gone, but.
Well, I got to tell you, it's gone downhill since we were there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty bad now.
Yeah.
It's one of the worst routes I've had. Downtown was the only one worse, but I have to swat freaking baggers off my truck as soon as I get to every stop.
Oh my god!
But hey, it's easy. It's all flip trays.
What else is going on? I thought, man, every time something new comes out, like a trailer or something, I'm like, oh, we're gonna have to talk about this on the podcast, and then I watch it, and then I forget about it. Like, I thought
if you send me one more picture of freaking MODOK, I'm gonna slap you.
You guys want to talk about MODOK?
Oh man, I just want to say,
have you seen it yet?
Yeah, Steve? I am so. Did you see it, Shawn? No.
No, we're talking about Ant-Man Quantumania, the new Ant-Man movie, by the way.
I figured you hadn't seen it. You were just throwing that picture there. Because
Marvel posted that.
I know. And I'm like, I'm so glad that I saw the movie before you would start sending me those pictures.
Yeah.
And like, but Shawn's right, dude. Like, Marvel posts that shit. He's just posting it from Marvel, you know? I'm like, dude, that's a big reveal in the movie that I am so glad I had no idea when I saw it, because I thought it was fucking hilarious. But when you see the picture, it's just like, with no context, it looks so fucking stupid, man.
It looks stupid to begin with, let's be honest.
Yeah, it does. It's stupid as fuck in the movie too, but it made me fucking laugh, dude.
Did you like it, Steve?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, for an Ant-Man movie, you know?
It had the potential to be great. Like, the acting was great. Like, they did a great job with, you know, Rudd's always good. But I love Jonathan Majors, and Michelle Pfeiffer was awesome.
Yeah.
And then I felt bad for the Wasp, because they're just like, she was just tagging along. But
I thought she played a
potential. You know,
she had a lot of action scenes where she saved them, and the end.
That's all she did, though.
Well, I mean, you know, she got to do what she got to do.
Yeah, but anyway, like, I think Marvel with this movie, if they would have started with Kang and gave us his backstory first, I think it would have been better. You know what I mean? I guess that they might do that, but like when they kind of did a little backstory in the beginning there, you know. And I was like, oh, wow, this is pretty cool. You know, they kind of pulled a DC where they shot their wad a little too soon. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they start with Kang, you know, and you know he's Kang. You know he's going to be bad or whatever if you watch Loki. So they start with that and they tease you with him, and then you don't see him to the very end, and it's kind of disappointing. And when you do see him, like him juxtaposed with Ant-Man, it's kind of like it's just it doesn't
there's no
fit.
way he's gonna defeat him. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's just like he's such a big badass character, and then when you have him next to Ant-Man, it just doesn't feel right. Like I get it that they explain it with the Quantumania world or wherever they're at, but
they could have. That's fine. He can fight Ant-Man, but my biggest thing, and big spoilers, Shawn don't give a crap. So,
yes, spoilers going
Kang
forward.
should have won. If Kang would have won, then you got this powerful guy, and then Ant-Man defeats him. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like,
and that was
let Ant-Man lose, and that's okay.
That was the thing with that Kang too. Like he was supposed to be the one that
conqueror.
He was supposed to be the one that the other Kangs feared.
Right. Right.
And I'm like, dude, and Ant-Man didn't even really beat him. It was the Quantum Mania ants that beat him, really.
Right.
So I mean, that was crazy. But
that's the difference. Like they set up Thanos. Dude is badass. How many times before Infinity War, we knew he was badass. And then Infinity War, I mean, he's freaking beating the Hawk. He's got, he killed Loki. We know that dude is ruthless.
And that was what really, like,
when they set it up for him, you get it. And then his character. And then you had empathy because you're kind of like, I kind of see where he's coming from. And he thinks he's doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying? Where is like this, they just like, he got defeated by Ant-Man. It's like, where are you guys going with this, man? You're doing a DC. So it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, it still was, it was entertaining, but it had the potential to be great. And
like you
I don't
were
know
saying,
what Marvel's doing, man.
Like you were saying, when you see Thanos make quick work of the Hawk.
Yeah.
For me, that's when I was like, fucking hell, dude, this is a formidable opponent, And like Majors acted tough and he showed some cutthroat stuff in the movie, but I never felt, that Thanos thing,
Right.
But he was up against Ant-Man, so he didn't have to do much. But I don't know, man. I mean, I'm with you, dude. He was great. He was a great villain, and I want to see it. He just felt out of place in this movie.
Well, that's fine. Ant-Man could be overmatched if you get the impression that he's just toying with Ant-Man. You know what I mean? And then, then the ants come and, whatever, save the day. But I never got the feeling that, you know what I'm saying? That I didn't get that feeling like he was toying with them. Maybe they were trying to do that. But even then, I mean, it's just.
Well, dude, like he got in a fight with Michelle Pfeiffer.
You got MODOK.
He got in a fight with Michelle Pfeiffer, and Michelle Pfeiffer almost took him out. I was like, how badass is this guy, dude?
Michelle Pfeiffer was great.
Man,
I could have just done a story about her and Jonathan Majors. Just
dude,
put them.
Dude, the MODOK shit. I had no idea that was MODOK.
Yeah,
I had no idea. And, because I remember Shawn telling me about the MODOK series on Hulu.
Yeah.
And I knew what he looked like, but it wasn't, blazoned in my memory. So when they first show him on screen in this movie, like they don't show his little arms and little legs. You just see like the big face at first. And then, oh my God, when they fucking lift the mask up and it's like, and it's Darren Cross. And everybody, it's funny because throughout the movie, different people see Darren for the first time. Like the first time it's like Ant-Man, he's like, holy shit, Darren, and then what's his name? What's Pym? What's the actor's name? Hank Pym. What's his name though in real life?
Michael Douglas.
Yeah, Michael Douglas. When he sees him for the first time, it's just like he's like, "Holy shit, Darren!" It was just, it was great, man. And he tries to, he's like, Darren is the bad guy trying to redeem himself. He's like, what was the line? It's never too late to not be a dick or something like that. I think that's what Cassie said.
His daughter was like, "You're just a dick."
Yeah. So he's trying to redeem himself, but it's like,
do you guys ever watch the pitch meetings I send you for movies? Because they're
I don't watch
oh
them.
my god,
I don't watch them until
I'll have to watch
after the movie.
I know you sent it to me. I forgot to watch it actually.
you gotta, dude. That guy is so insightful. Like me and him are on the same page with so much stuff that we both notice. I haven't seen this movie obviously, but I think one of the things he says is like, you know, how does she get MODOK on their side? It's like she tells him to not be a dick, and that works. And I'm like, that sounds like Marvel writing. That sounds like Marvel writing, basically.
Well, yeah, I mean,
that's
like,
what they do nowadays.
When you see MODOK's character in this, it's like all out of whack, dude. His mind's all fucking jumbled and shit from the fucking quantum realm or whatever.
They play his image up for laughs on purpose. Then
yes.
Okay.
Yes. That whole it's for a laugh 100%. That's why it looks so fucking stupid.
And to me, that's also, I mean, MODOK is kind of a jokey character. I mean, he is goofy looking, but I don't get the vibe from anything I've seen from this trailer that there's anything in this movie of consequence that happens. And did you know this is the first movie of Phase 5? Phase 4 is now over. We didn't even get like an Avengers movie. We didn't get a central villain. Phase 4 is done. Like we had one good movie. We had Spider-Man, No Way Home. We had I liked the Captain America Falcon TV series. It was pretty good. Not anything like great, but basically we got Spider-Man, No Way Home, and then a bunch of shit. Just a bunch of Marvel diarrhea for the entirety of Phase 4. We got Loki was pretty good too. I did enjoy Loki. I don't want to shit on Loki, but there's no standouts. There's no Avengers type movie. There's no Winter Soldier. Again, other than No Way Home. You know, like there were so many great ones with the Iron Man movies, Captain America movies were all great on their own.
I really enjoyed this for Ant-Man, but I see what you're saying. It's not like the next step.
But this is what I was saying. I've been saying this since the beginning of Phase 4, which is it doesn't feel like they have a cohesive. And it's the same thing I noticed with Force Awakens. Right from the beginning, it was like it doesn't feel like they're working towards anything. And I was right. We are now in Phase 5, and Phase 4 was just a fucking fart, dude. That's all it was.
I thought they were working to something, and then they defeated Kang. And I'm like,
again, why did you think that? They've given you no clue throughout any of Phase 4 that anything was going to happen. Well, you are really bad at stories.
We are all.
You shouldn't be by now.
What are you talking about, dude? Dude, they all.
How do you not notice that they're not building towards something when
they
you
were
look at all the
building
TV series?
Kang, dude.
Let me finish. When you see Winter Soldier, Loki, WandaVision, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, none of it is cohesive. None of it. They're not working towards jack shit. They're working towards introducing characters so they can build more movies and TV shows. That's all they did this whole time. They brought Kang into Loki, and then they brought Kang in. And as soon as you have Kang as the bad guy in Ant-Man, it's the same as having Thanos as the bad guy in, I don't know, Iron Fist. Okay, this is a mismatch. This makes no sense.
Was he a bad guy in Loki though? I mean, he was just a guy. I mean,
I'm saying he's a bad guy in Ant-Man.
Oh yeah, okay.
And so you bring him in as that, and how are you gonna it didn't even make sense. You knew that it was like, okay, so you're taking what's supposed to be a Thanos level threat, and you're putting him in an Ant-Man movie, which again, those are comedic. Those are the most comedic of the Marvel movies, intentionally so.
That's what I was saying. If they would have started with a Kang movie, that would have been great. We could get how badass this guy is, I don't know. Hey, man, I don't know. I'm not an executive TV. What do I know? But
I thought he was going to be a formidable opponent. I thought he was, because he knows everything. He knows everything that's going to happen. And that's why I thought, well, shit, this guy will be tough to beat if he knows what's coming. And then they just beat him, in this movie. I thought he was going to win. I mean, I knew Ant-Man was going to survive. But I thought, Kang wouldn't get defeated, but they just set the other Kangs up, basically. That was just one of the Kangs. That was one of the cutscenes. They showed a bunch of other Kangs all around. So I guess that's where they're going with it, you know. But I thought
Marvel really
this
fell
Kang was
off,
going to
man.
be the one to, you know, be the big bad going forward, and he wasn't, which surprised me. So what was that?
Interesting choice. That interesting. I will say this. Like I was thinking about this afterwards. Like all these new movies, except for Spider-Man. See, Spider-Man is more. I think I enjoy it because it's more based on reality. You know what I mean? And like, my favorite movie out of all the Marvels was Captain America: Winter Soldier. It was like on Earth, nothing super extraterrestrial, like Iron Man. Great movie. You know, it was kind of like reality based.
Well, yeah, it's the most relatable to us.
Yeah,
Like we
that's what I'm
can't relate
saying.
to other worlds.
Even First Avenger. I mean, you got a guy that looks like a Red Skull, but it still feels, you know, I don't know. Those movies seem to they're kind of getting away with that. Everything is CGI, everything is, you know, I I don't like them as much, you know? I don't know.
I think that's one of the things. I still think you can make fantastical stories that
Well,
people enjoy.
Guardians. I
I
mean,
think,
yeah,
yeah.
you can
I mean,
do green screen.
um, but again, I think their issue is they didn't go in with like a coherent blueprint. They were coasting. Everybody's called them on it. I'm not the only one. Where everybody's like, "What the fuck is Marvel doing now?" They're just putting out shit, just like I said they were doing after, especially after Phase 3, where they're like, "It doesn't matter. People will go see it. They don't have to put any effort in. So why bother?" And that's what they've shown
Dude,
with Phase
all
4.
I saw all the movies and they all weren't great. But I still
Exactly.
enjoyed I still
Yeah.
enjoyed most of the
Yeah.
movies. And I really enjoyed this movie for an Ant-Man movie, you know? So I'm just I think
I
they
mean,
can.
that's fine, but again, I feel like you could skip all of Phase 4 and start at Phase 5.
But I don't
Whereas,
want to
like,
skip. I'm with Steve. I don't want to skip, Shawn. I want to go watch them. I like going to movies, and
I
I do enjoy
want
them.
to, but they have to give me a again, this goes back to your guys' blind loyalty to a team who has never delivered for you. I won't do that. I won't accept less than
And that's
excellence,
fine.
basically. And
I'm going to
that's what
keep
I'm saying,
going.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why they're making their money, and that's why they're going to keep shoveling shit at you, because
Well,
they keep making money. Don't give them the money, and they won't keep shoveling shit
I don't
on
know
you.
if it's shit. It's just half shit.
It's not
It's
memorable,
not.
though.
It's
Like,
not
we're still
fucking
talking about
Casablanca.
Infinity War and
Dude,
Endgame,
dude.
Well,
but we're not.
yeah.
Nobody's talking. I can barely even name anything that happened in the last phase.
I don't
What
mean it's
you
shit
know, we
though.
would
I
be
mean,
talking about
Absolutely
it
does.
if you fucking
no,
saw it. We could
doesn't
be
mean
talking about it because
We are talking about it.
dude, there was a scene where he has to go into the core of they
I know what you're talking about.
Kang needed he had a power source
You
and
don't even have to set it up. You don't care.
he needed that to escape this planet and through the help of Michelle Pfeiffer they were able to fix the core. But
Well, he
then
needed that to get all his power back.
yes, whatever. But anyway, she finds out that he's evil and she uses the last of her enlarging discs or whatever and blows the core up. So it's like a giant fucking planet. So Ant-Man has to go into the core. And once he goes into the core, he goes into some, you know, quantum realm again or whatever. And he meets all these other Scotts, kind of like in the Matrix when there's all these different possibilities, you know, where Neo sees all the other ones. And that was pretty cool. And they all like they all they all
Baskin Robbins.
yeah, he runs into Baskin Robbins, Scott, and it's like the funniest thing. And they're all divisive, and they can't get on the same track. And then they find out the one thing they all have in common is that they want Cassie to live. So they all get on the same page. They ended up, you know, getting this core fixed or whatever. And it was epic, dude. And then Ant-Man jumps, he gets bigger than he's ever been before, you know, and he's just destroying cities or this quantum city or whatever. And it was fun, man. It was a really good experience. It was a great movie, man. Like
I like stuff more when it has stakes. And I think one of the things that when you look at Spider-Man No Way Home, when you finally Aunt May dies, you know, in the other every other universe it's Uncle Ben, but you have Aunt May. So you have these huge stakes with her death, and then at the end of the movie, he is like completely alone and nobody even remembers him. And I feel like every other movie just ends like a Scooby-Doo cartoon where everybody just piles back in the van. Nobody's dead. Everybody's fine. Nothing has changed. And that's what it sounds like. Ant-Man, it sounds like they have some cool scenes going on, but I'm more interested in the story, how the story impacts the characters, what's the character evolution. That's what I'm in for. I'm not just there to see a bunch of CGI artists at their best.
Yeah.
So tell me the death toll. Like, how did Michelle Pfeiffer's character die?
Stabbed.
And she's dead now, or is she still alive?
No, she's dead.
She's still alive. I know she's still alive. How did Cassie die? Nobody dies. Nothing happens. Everybody's fine. An episode of Scooby-Doo.
Dude, I'm not arguing. Those are the things
I'm looking for. And
guess what? Nobody died in Spider-Man. Like, okay, Aunt May died, but like,
yeah, that's huge. That's fucking huge. Yeah. And basically, Spider-Man died. Spider-Man was wiped from existence. That was also huge. These are consequences that have impacts on the characters.
I don't argue with him about that's what made that a better film because of the stakes. I mean, that is so true. The problem is I don't like to go see halfway decent movies,
and that's fine.
I saw Avatar. I said to go see.
I said to go see Avatar because of the spectacle of it. There's no stakes in that movie. One of the kids dies, but you don't care. It's a blue cartoon character. Nobody's emotionally invested, and you don't even know which kid it is by the time he dies. So you're like, which son was that? I don't fucking know. They all look like blue cats.
Sounds like I hate Avatar, so I don't care. But there are people that care, you know? Like,
what was the kid's name who died? What was the kid's name who died?
Jonathan.
George.
No, you don't even know his name.
Cool.
You're not invested.
I didn't say I was the one. I said other people.
What? We knew Aunt May died. We know her name. We know Aunt May died.
But at the end of that movie, they basically
we're invested.
They basically just reset the end of that movie anyway, though. You know, it was just like
they didn't.
He'll find her again.
You see, he did. And did you miss? That was the epic scene. He goes, he finds her, and what does he do? He makes the choice. He makes the hero's choice not to impact his loved ones' lives with all the negative shit that goes along with being Spider-Man. That's epic and huge. Going to talk to Baskin-Robbins Ant-Man is not epic and huge. It doesn't show any character growth.
It was entertaining,
just a comedic plot point. Exactly.
It was still entertaining.
I want more like the old Marvel. And you guys you're arguing like
that's fine at the culmination. At the culmination of this.
Calm down. I know you wrote and directed this movie, so you're passionate about it, but let me finish.
I just want you to see a fucking movie before you start bashing it.
That's not what's important. No, what's important to me is getting the good stories like we had before. We had that Marvel had raised the bar for popular comic book hero movies, and now they're on the other side of that. They're slipping way below it. I want them to come back to that. There needs to be more than just, oh, it's a Marvel movie, let's go see it. I am invested, and because I'm so invested, I expect better. I want stuff to at least be on par with Iron Man 3.
I get it.
That's
but
all.
You act like that Spider-Man is not a part of the Marvel universe. It is.
It's the best one that came out, and it's
exactly.
Great.
And let's keep watching, and maybe there'll be another Spider-Man. There's always, dude. There's the little ones. Nobody thought Ant-Man Quantumania is going to be the culmination of everything. You know,
you don't need to keep handing Disney money. Disney, you want to send Disney the message that what they're doing is fine and continue. I would rather send Disney the message.
The movie. I will send them the message. I enjoyed the movie. I had fun. I thought it was fun.
And it's as good as the other stuff. Or is it another Doctor Strange entry where you don't actually give a shit?
Dude,
I like Ant-Man. I like Ant-Man. I like Paul Rudd. A lot of his humor was displayed in this movie. I enjoyed it. I like
Paul Rudd too.
It's not Endgame.
Why? I don't. Okay,
it's
but why
not
are
Spider-Man.
you so angry that I don't understand why you're so angry.
I'm angry because you never see movies and then you talk shit about them.
About it.
You can't say shit until you see the fucking movie.
Yes, I can. I've seen that movie 1,000 times.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. You do it every week.
I've seen that movie. I don't need to see it to know that it's good. It's like before I saw Avatar, I was talking shit about it, and then I saw it, and then it did exactly what I said it was going to do. I did not need to see it to confirm what I said about it. It is pure spectacle.
Dude.
The story sucks. The character design still sucks. I was 100% right about Avatar. I was never emotionally invested in it. I knew that would be the case. I know that's the case with this Ant-Man movie. And it's not about just, let's go see a movie because it's fun and I enjoy it for me. again, if you guys were here, I would go see it with you. But if I'm going to go see a movie, if I'm going to invest 3.5 hours of my life and risk getting COVID for like the 17th time since December, because I feel like I keep getting sick now ever since I got COVID back in December.
It's because you don't leave the fucking house to go see a movie.
And every time I do, I come back with some bug. Go to the post office the other day. The next day, I'm congested all over again.
It's all those Instacart people giving you disease, bringing it to you.
I never see those people. Those people leave stuff outside. That's
but it's all their hands are all over the bag.
that the germs don't live that long, especially out in the cold. But we won't go into all that science of that.
COVID's over. COVID's over. It's done. But yeah.
But anyway, I understand your frustration with me, but like my frustration is with the larger movie going populace that just accepts that, like, oh yeah, they do mediocre movies now. Like, no, don't. Let them get to a point that DC got to where they were like, wow, let's do some drastic change. Our shit sucks. Let's pull in somebody who will do a great job.
I go see the DC movies too.
So look, man. I really
enough people were going.
I like reinforcing bad behavior.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
Right. What can I tell you?
Rob has stepped up.
I know my limitations.
I can't scold him anymore.
I like going to the movies, and I will continue to do so. And they will put out shit, and I will still go see
Steve.
Well,
this wasn't shit. This wasn't shit to me.
I know, and this is why I'm scolding Steve.
I agree with
I'm scolding Steve because he is arguing that this is up there in quality when we've seen what they can produce. This is just
you haven't seen shit.
What does that even mean?
You haven't. You said we've seen. You haven't seen a goddamn thing.
You're not listening to me. I said we've seen they can produce quality. You're telling me I haven't seen any Marvel movies now?
I'm saying.
Is that the statement you're
saying there's
Are you
a lot
so
of good
heated
movies.
that you can't follow my thoughts now?
Look, man. Look, I know what you're trying to do. It's not going to happen.
I'm not trying to.
So
it's already happened. You're heated over and passionate about something that at the end of the day you don't even give a fuck about,
dude. I'm fucking it. This irks me so much that you won't go see. You had a podcast about movies and comics.
No, it's about comics. Steve reads a comic. It's strictly about reading comics.
Okay, it's about watches. We switched the format halfway through. We watched movies.
We did that for Rob.
Dude,
all right, so
I want to hear your opinion based on something you've seen.
I'm giving it to you. I already know the product.
Something you've seen, dude.
And I'm telling you, I've seen this movie 1,000 times.
Research.
I've seen this movie 1,000 times.
Okay.
I don't. Okay. And you're telling me that, dude. There's only so many stories you can tell. We know this, right?
Okay. So you knew when MODOK lifted up his mask, it was going to be Darren Cross. I'm sorry.
That has no impact. Again,
it does to me because it was funny.
No.
It was hilarious.
Okay. Comedic moments are one thing, but that doesn't make a movie great. Just having something that makes you laugh.
I didn't say it was in game. I said it was enjoyable. I like laughing. I like Paul Rudd. I like his humor. I like to see that in movies.
All right,
I'm not saying it wins an Oscar, but it was enjoyable, dude.
Dude, I can shit on Oscar nominated stuff too because that stuff is all. Like, don't get me started on that stuff.
All right, so we end up with this. Steve doesn't like it that you don't go to see the movies every week.
No,
I don't like it. Here's what else. I don't like it that I'm not going to the movies. I want to go to movies. Put a movie out there that I want to fucking see.
Yeah,
that's not my problem.
No,
problem.
It's not that I don't like it. It infuriates me.
Okay,
I hate it about. That's like Shawn's worst quality. All right,
to
me.
We'll argue about this next time we talk about a movie that comes out and Shawn doesn't go see it. So let me ask you this, and this is what I've been wondering, and maybe the three of us can put all this together. So why what happened that Feig did a great job?
Feige.
Whatever. God damn it. Feige. He did a great job. So what happened? What has happened that now, like Shawn said, they are a little incoherent. They're not really tied together anymore. What happened to make so that because they're not? I mean, what is going on? Like, is it the launch of Disney Plus where they just had to throw shit out there and get it done so that they had material like to entice people to subscribe? Is that the reason you think it's so discombobulated?
Well, I think that what's happened here is the same thing that happens with any other popular franchise. Is once fatigue? It becomes, it's not fatigue. I have fatigue, but they don't. What they have is, and I see this a lot because I love horror movies, and you see this happen in horror franchises a lot, especially back in the 80s, is once they have an audience that will just go see whatever they put up, then that's what they do. They just put out, they don't put the care behind it. They don't put the attention to detail behind it because they don't have to anymore. That's hard work. Why do hard work when you can just put out a movie that people will go see?
But I don't buy that.
Why do we
always...
anybody
at any job? That's anybody at any job, though, Rob.
Why?
Once you find out what the minimum is you can do and still make money, that's what most people do. Of course, that extends to corporate America, where they care more and more about how much they make versus.
But they're still putting a lot of money into it. It costs a lot of money to put.
But again, it's risk versus reward. They know it's like predetermined how much they're going to make on these things.
Okay, is Kevin Feige still behind it?
I don't know his level of involvement. I never really had. I think he spearheaded it initially, and then it became its own department. And because it became such a consistent moneymaker, I think you probably had other people involved, and maybe because of that. The more it gets, disseminated with other people and all the other executive input, you end up with watered down product because of that. And that's just a guess.
Well, that might be one of the reasons why that it's gone down. If the head is not there,
you had who's the guy that runs Disney now? He quit. He retired. Then they had Bob Iger came on. And now he's back. You think it lost a little direction when he retired, and maybe it'll regain traction now?
It is absolutely possible to get back on track, in my opinion. But
you think that might been maybe that's one of the reasons. Maybe that this guy says, "Hey, just put out shit, just keep it pumping,"
Right? He's like, "What other characters you got?" They're like, "Oh, we got She-Hulk, we got Miss Marvel, we got Moon Knight." Right. And they're like, "Fine, do Moon Knight, but make it garbage." And they're like, "Yes, sir." And like, that got people like Steve love it.
I did read an article.
I loved it until the hippopotamus. They lost me on that.
Iger did say they're gonna start putting out. He did mention quality over quantity, so we'll see what happens.
And that's what I mean. Is like they see the returns, they see those returns, those receipts, and they know they have a popular product, and it's just part of the public zeitgeist. And people are, you become a Marvel zombie. You're just like, a new Marvel movie, we're going to go see that. There's like no argument with these people anymore. You just go and see it. And this goes back to buying comic books in the 90s, especially when I was younger, had a much more limited budget. I was very selective about what I bought. And if I was buying a series, Spider-Man, Punisher, and I didn't like the way the series was going, I didn't just keep reading it. I stopped buying it because I didn't want to read crap. I'm not going to support a character simply because I love that character. For the most part, I have been guilty of that with like this recent Venom run, where I'm just like, why this Venom run is so terrible, and I keep reading it and I don't know why.
Well, congratulations. Your tastes are so refined that you can.
No, it's not about that.
You can
see, and that's
what
everybody says. That's what everybody says. When in reality, I just like what I like. I've seen a quality. They've shown me a quality level, and because I've seen that, that's what I want them to aspire to. If they're not aspiring to that, where's my inspiration to go see their movie? If they're not going to try to maintain that quality level, it's not up to me to support that. And that's not a matter of taste or refinement. It means I know what they're capable of, and they're one of the biggest companies in the world. There's no excuse for them to shovel out shit.
Yeah,
they don't have to do that,
dude. I just went in. It's Ant-Man, Quantumania. I didn't go in thinking Avengers 7.
No, I saw the last two Ant-Man's movies. They were fine. And this one honestly seems on par with the last two. But I think the difference with the last two is, he's always been a silly character, but it was very entwined in the Marvel universe. And so you could have a couple like goofy little movies. But with this last phase, this is like just another, like everything has been just a goofy side story. She-Hulk, and stuff like that. It's just, and this is another thing. It's just like, I don't want a bunch of goofy side. It's one thing here and there to have it put in there, but to have this be the standard now when it used to be so much higher, it upsets me. It makes me angry. I don't want to support it because I don't want to see that. Why would I continue to give them money when they're putting out something I don't want to see? And this is the other side. Like I know, and I'm ragging on you guys or whatever. Well, mostly Steve. Rob has stated his mission statement, and I support that. He's like, hey, I like to do this. Steve, however, is trying to tell me this is good stuff, and this is not good stuff. They've made good stuff.
It is good. It was good. It wasn't great. I didn't say it was great. I said it was good.
That's good.
But to me, it's just, this is all, I see the whole phase and everything that was in it. And again, we have No Way Home, which was like, top tier, one of the best Marvel movies, probably in my top 5. And then everything else, 5, 10, 15 steps below that. Everything else, like nothing else. Like it, to me, this is just more disappointment. And so that's why I'm not interested. And they build it up, and it's just very, I mean, they've always been formulaic to an extent, but now that, like I said, they don't even have stakes in the movie. Everybody survives. The universe remains unchanged for some reason. The bad guy, like, I like Jonathan Majors. I honestly don't know much about Kang in the comics, but there's nothing about that character that's interesting to me, like a Darth Vader or a Thanos, where I could kind of root for him, or I want to see him taken down. He's a very boring villain, in my opinion. He's just boring.
And
like,
it is weird that Ant-Man keeps, like, he's involved with like the biggest things in the universe. It's like he was, well, after the rat pushed the button and got him out of the quantum realm. So I guess we can thank the rat, but then it was Ant-Man's idea of like, hey, how about, can we do something with time travel?
Call that rat by his name. It was Splinter.
Okay, if you say so. But then, so he pretty much saves the world in Endgame. And then, in this one, he's up against the big bad again. It's like, Jesus Christ, why is it always Ant-Man? It's like, this should be the guy that gets beaten the quickest,
Because they got rid of Captain America.
He does have insane capabilities, especially because he can go quantum or whatever. But to me, it's not even about his power set or whatever. It's just, again, have stakes. Let something be at stake other than Marvel's coffers.
I want to see a Captain America
is at stake right now
with Anthony Mackie. What the hell's taking so long? How long ago did Falcon and Winter Soldier come out? It's been like 3 years.
2 years.
Maybe they're doing what Shawn is wanting, and they're sitting down and getting a quality script.
I mean, Come on, man. How do you not?
Now, I'm going to see Guardians this year regardless. Logan will probably see that because he did like the Guardians movie, so I might have somebody to go with me.
Well, that's it for the Guardians, right? I mean, together.
I think we never should have took Shawn to see Eternals. Like, ever since then, he's like, I can't go into the Marvel movie.
And that movie's like traumatic for me because I keep forgetting about that it even exists. But it's like
you wake up in a cold sweat. You're like, no.
Well, that definitely didn't fit into anything.
And that's just another example of them being like,
and how
put it out there. What other IP do we own? Put it out there. Let's get it out there. Shovel it out there.
Maybe
somebody will see it.
Maybe they were trying to go a direction, and they're like, "Oh, everybody hated this.
Maybe they just got rid of it. We got
to course correct or something. I don't know." Oh, hey, when you said that you had saw the post-credit scene, and you were like, "Oh my God, they're so predictable," and you're like, "I saw the color or something."
Yeah.
What
color
was
red.
that? What were you talking about?
The scene I saw, so maybe it wasn't real, but the scene I saw, full spoiler alert, is Scarlet Witch coming back.
Oh no, that wasn't it.
No? So I don't know what I saw then.
That was a fake.
Yeah, keep not going to the movies. Just find all your shit on YouTube. Jesus Christ.
I wasn't on YouTube. I don't know who posted that.
The post-credit scene was...
Just send me another picture of Darren Cross and MODOK.
What was the Black Panther scene then? Like, did that have a credit scene?
I don't even remember.
That was...
There we go.
Black Panther.
No, I never said Black Panther.
Yeah, Black Panther, it was his son. They were showing his son.
Oh, yeah.
You don't remember that?
Yeah, I do now. But I mean, that movie was okay.
The two post-credit scenes in this one was all the Kangs getting together in one spot. And then...
Okay.
It was the Council of the Kangs is what it was.
Yeah.
Where there's a bunch of them, and then they showed, like, the three, like, Tut Kang... But what King? I don't know the other two.
And then the second post credit,
I had to look and see because I don't know that much about Kang either.
The second post credit scene it's
right out of the comics, though. The scene with the Kangs, the Council of Kangs, evidently.
Oh, that was like right from the comics. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
The second scene was Loki and what's the other guy's name in the show?
Yeah.
Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson. They were going back in time to stop the first Kang.
Well, we don't know if it's the first Kang, do we?
Yeah,
We don't.
It's Did you watch Loki? He was the one that discovered time travel and everything and the multiverse. So
I don't know about that. I mean,
going
they
back
went back.
to kill him.
He was definitely a different version of Kang.
Watch the last episode of Loki again, dude. It's him.
Dude, that was like 5 years ago. I don't remember that.
Dude, they're trying to stop him because he's the one that started it all. And that's why all the Kangs are fighting each other.
I guess. You say so.
You say so.
Yeah, right. I'll probably watch Ant-Man on Disney Plus. Because again, I did like the other two. I think it's a perfectly likable type of movie, but it's not worth $15 and 3 hours of my day though.
You'll watch it on Disney
only 2
Plus,
hours,
and then you'll send me 6 pictures of that stupid grinny.
I'll never
Cross.
stop sending that picture of MODOK.
It's so fucking stupid. Like, I know why he's sending it. Like, it's fucking hilarious. And I am just so glad that I did not see them, or I already saw the movie by the time you sent that. I don't know why Marvel puts that shit on their website, dude. They don't even care.
So the first like that wasn't the first picture. I saw another picture, basically the same, and it was a little over a week ago. And I sent it to Rob because I knew Rob had seen Ant-Man. I just sent him a picture. I was like, "Bro, is this real?" Because I was like, "This is a terrible Photoshop job. Like nobody would stretch out a face like that and then put it in a $200 million movie, right?"
No, they did. They did.
And he's like, yeah, that's real. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. and then we got Steve over here being like, you gotta see this movie, bro. I was like, do I gotta see this movie?
I just said that tonight. I was trying to keep it quiet until the podcast, man. I mean, yeah, I think you would have enjoyed it. I laughed a lot. There was like 4 or 5 times.
I probably would have had a good time seeing it with some friends. If I went by myself to see this movie, I'd probably walk out furious. I'd probably be like, nothing happened. MODOK looks stupid as hell. Like,
yeah, he did. I was so like, I had no idea that was going to be MODOK, and then I find out it was Darren Cross, and it was just like, holy shit! I didn't see any of this coming.
Did they call him MODOK at any point?
Yeah, that is MODOK.
And did they discuss what it's an acronym for?
Yes, they did that.
Okay. And did he do a lot of killing? Like, had he done any killing?
He did some killing. Yeah, he was like Kang's second in command or whatever, basically.
Okay.
There's one thing that they do all the time, and I'm with you. Like, I hate this shit, but like Cassie knows everything about quantum mechanics now, you know?
Right.
Like, she's been with Hank Pym for like 6 months, and she's already advanced quantum mechanics. Girl.
Well, I saw a clip, and I just started rolling my eyes, and the clip was they're in the car together, like him and Aunt Girl, whatever his wife's name is, Wasp.
Yeah.
And Cassie's like, oh yeah, I made a suit, and I'm just like rolling. Like, remember when like making a suit was like a big deal, and now everybody just makes a suit. It is a clip from they've played this clip from the movie where she's in the backseat of the car. She's like, well, I made a suit. She just like slips into the conversation casually. And he's like, you made a suit? And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. Like, I want to just one time, I want to see something realistic where the kids are like, I have no interest in what my parents are doing. You know what I mean? Like, because that's reality. Like, every Marvel movie, it's like the kids are like, yeah, I'm going to grow up and be just like mom or dad or whoever. And in reality, I'm like, dude, you guys like comic books? Kids are like, no, comic books are stupid. Oh, you guys want to go see movies? Like, no, we don't really like movies. Oh, so let's have the kid in the movie who's like, yeah, I have no interest in that stuff, you fucking dork. Nah. But no, instead she has made her own suit somehow, which has got to cost millions of dollars, by the way.
She not only made her own suit, she developed a map of the quantum realm.
Don't even explain it to him why she was able to make her own suit, because he don't want to see the movie. So
I don't care. Where did she get millions of dollars in funding for her own shrinking suit?
I don't know. Maybe her grandpa.
Hey, didn't she say Evangeline Lilly was like hardcore conservative or something like that?
Oh, she was a big anti-vaxxer back during the COVID stuff.
Oh, okay. Because there's a scene in this movie, and he's Hank Pym's talking about the ants all working together, and he's like, I know socialism is a charged word. And then she's like, and then she cuts him off. She's like, Dad, you know, and I was like, did they do that for her? Like, I don't get it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know much about her. I know she was just very super anti-vaccination back in the day.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, now there's evidence that it leaked from the lab. No, that if you read the article, that's not what they're saying. I'm not saying that it couldn't have happened, but it's just
I've always kind of thought that anyway, because again,
it very well could have happened.
Yeah.
But they don't know. It's like
right.
it's not like if you listen to Fox News, you would think that there's definitive proof. There's not definitive proof either way. In fact, I just read an article about the scientist that actually said it, like when it first happened, he's like, oh yeah, it probably came from the lab. And then he's like, you know what? I'm going to research this. And he's like a virologist.
Virologist?
Yeah, that.
Virologist.
And he's like, no, it probably came from the Wuhan market. Because like after evidence, you know, that they say, but he's also, it still
I feel like there's evidence
it's like we'll
that
probably
supports
never
both.
know.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, and I just look at it. I'm not looking at it as a viewing it from a conservative or liberal perspective.
Right.
I'm just looking at it as what seems most likely. Either one is possible, but to me, the reason I lead more towards the lab thing is because there's a fucking lab where they just talk, where all they do is study coronaviruses. Like, so to me, that just seems like the most obvious point.
Yeah.
It's like Occam's razor.
I was just going to say that. I was like, all I can think of is that fucking line from Contact. Occam's razor.
Oh, I don't know that from that movie. I remember that movie.
That's actually
I don't remember
science,
anything from
but
it.
sure. The movie.
No, dude.
That might be the first place where he heard it, though.
Dude,
that might be the first place I heard it. I don't know.
No,
if memes would have been around then, that would have definitely been a meme.
But I mean, ultimately, it does not matter.
Right.
It got out, and I don't understand why one side supports one theory and one side supports another. Why isn't everybody just like, what do we have the most evidence of? I don't understand why it has to be a partisan thing to try to figure out what the origin is. Like, why is one point of view give you conservative if you say you think it came from a lab? That's stupid to me. I don't understand that.
There's no smoking gun. Like the article I read, the closest smoking gun was this guy was saying is there were some leaked documents from China recently, like, I don't know, a year ago or whatever. And he ended up getting a hold of them and studying them. But evidently there was like on the cages, like they found like 10 different coronaviruses on these cages and like tables and stuff that was the coronavirus, like at this market,
Yeah.
like,
and they probably found coronavirus in the Coronavirus Institute too.
Right. And they, exactly.
So that's what I mean. Like, and again, it's weird. And I don't know if it's the news outlets that are presenting it a certain way that we're supposed to feel one way or another, depending where our loyalties lie. But I think that's all stupid. It's just more balkanization. I don't fucking like it. There's no reason not to look at all the data and draw your own conclusions.
Well, probably
which,
never
again, ultimately don't matter. Where changes need to be made in wet markets, obviously, and maybe people need to tighten up security in these. But I don't know what else. I mean, I know that when you're working in a lab like that, there's all kinds, according to movies anyway, there's all kinds of steps to get in and out. But we also know that, we think the White House is super protected, and then you find out somebody just ran across the lawn into the White House and was in there for a few minutes before security guards or before Secret Service tackled the motherfucker. So in the movies, they make it seem like it's this fortress or whatever, and then the reality is it's just more white human beings being bad.
You mean like jobs. Capitol Hill?
Yeah, like it's eye opening, the reality of this stuff. Like, right. You want to believe that you can't just break into the White House. No, some dude just walked in. Just ran in. So
nailed it. I made it.
Right. And he didn't know what to do. Like, because he was just walking around apparently because nobody was doing anything. He was just like, shit. I don't know if it was like supposed to be some sort of suicide by cop attempt or what he was doing. But I think he was just like, fuck. I didn't expect this part to work. I don't even know what to do now. I hadn't planned past getting in. I thought once I got in, I'd be fucking shot or, disabled in some way immediately. And now I'm just running around the White House. Nobody seems to fucking care.
It's like me when I jumped the stage at Harry Connick. I was like, I never thought I'd make it this far. I don't know what to do.
What do I do now?
What do I do now?
Steve's like, have you guys seen my Running Man?
No,
I don't know.
I can't do that. I was just talking to my buddy. I was just talking about my buddy about that. I was like, I can't fucking do that. And it irks me. Like, I've tried. I don't have the skill. I got white man syndrome or something. I don't know what it is. All right. How about Mandalorian? Did you guys watch it? Yeah?
I did watch Mandalorian.
All right. Let's talk about that.
Does this meet your expectations? And
Shawn hasn't seen it, but he's going to talk shit about it.
No, I did watch it. I just thought it was okay. Had a cool little opening scene, which was fun to see the Mandalorians. I will tell you what puts me off, and this is a personal issue. This is not a quality issue.
The space whales?
No, it's I don't like anything. Because of my upbringing, my childhood, everything I dealt with, I don't like anything where they try to make like extremist religious groups like a good thing. I don't like it. And that's what I don't like that. I don't care that they're Mandalorians. Like, I don't like it. It's so stupid. And then of course I have to start picking it apart. They're putting this helmet on this kid. It's like, does he fuck with that on? Like, what are the rules once you put this helmet on? Obviously you have to eat in private, but like,
well, like, if it's religious in any way, they probably don't fuck at all. They just stay celibate.
Which again, I really hate that. Like that makes no sense.
I was thinking of you when they were doing that open scene. I was like, Shawn hates this shit.
I do. I hate, and my hope is that he breaks away from all that. To be honest, and again, and they've talked about how he is part of like an extremist sect of Mandalorians.
You mean after he baptizes himself in the living waters, and then he breaks away from it?
Maybe he doesn't get that far. Maybe, but yeah, I don't like that aspect of it.
That scene with her, she's like, "You're an idiot."
What I love about that too is like we're going to this castle, and they go and like that's what Bo-Katan does all day. She just sits around in this giant empty castle on this very uncomfortable looking throne. Like I was so confused by that.
Yeah, do you think like there's a butler there that said, "Hey, the Mandalorian's here," or was she just sitting there when he arrived?
Right. Was she already? Because I didn't. It was probably. I'm sure she has a protocol droid running around if nothing else.
Well,
we didn't see anybody, droid. And it's just like you just sit there like I'm king of the castle. I'm king of the castle. Like
she wasn't even sitting; she was lounging.
Yeah.
All right, so we did. Speaking of space whales, we saw them. Does that get us closer towards Ezra? You think maybe, or at some point?
I didn't remember that.
I think Ahsoka will deal with that. I don't think they're.
Oh, you think it'll be Ahsoka? Okay.
Yeah. Whenever that comes out.
That's the other. Damn. See, that's a good thing you bring that up, though. That's the other thing with the Marvel. Like I said, with this whole phase, it seems everything's about setting up a new character. Don't start doing that with Mandalorian. Don't start making it about Ezra and this and that. I know they brought Ahsoka in, and stuff like that, but that's been one of the failures of Phase 4. Is just like, well, we got to introduce new people. We got to introduce. No, you don't. You don't have to keep setting stuff up.
What do you think about introducing old characters because they got IG-11 back? Or they're trying to.
That scene where he's shooting at IG-11, I'm like, what happened to your aim? You used to be able to aim so good. You just killed 4 guys in an alley. 4 living people and you can't shoot something crawling around slowly on the floor all of a sudden. It was very weird.
I was wondering what you thought about that because you're always like, because IG-11's death was such a great scene. But then they bring him back, just like...
hey, man, Star Wars has warned us. Then no one's ever really gone. That's their new creed now. So we just have to accept no one's ever really. If the Emperor could come back, then a robot can definitely come back. So that's the level they're at, basically.
Yoda can talk, right? We've heard him.
Yeah.
How long does it take for this little shit to learn a couple words, man?
That's the thing too. Is like,
I mean, come on, man. He's gonna pick.
Do they have a map of development for that species
Maybe.
somewhere? Like, do you have to be 300 years old before you can talk as one of them? Like, I don't. How slow is their
Develop a voice
development?
box? Maybe it's not. I don't know.
I agree though.
I thought since Grogu was using the Force, he'd at least be able to say hi or something.
You would think he'd be able. He would pick up on some language, but instead, right now, he's like a puppy still. Still to this day, I don't know how long they're going to play that out, but I guess
as long as I can, because goddamn, that shit was cute when he popped up from the spaceship and the bubble in the beginning.
Yeah,
after they beat that monster or whatever, that was cool. Did you see him coming in and shooting that monster?
No, that was a very cool scene. It was just it was just like an okay introductory episode. Setting up where we're going, and that's fine with it as long as it's not like because I remember Boba Fett did the same thing. It's like, okay, so as long as it's not 5 episodes of setup, then I'm okay with it.
Tank.
Right, let's go to the back of the tank.
In the tank, we got it.
Right, and they're establishing everything, all the potential threats, and not actually having anything happen of consequence. So hopefully it moves. And I mean, the other seasons had no problem with that. So hopefully this is the case.
I like the episode. It had a nice, it starts you out with action, and then it kind of, and then we got we got flying Mandalorians, cool, always.
Yeah.
We got a space, spaceship scene, fight, dog fight. That was cool.
The space.
It got my Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
You got the Star Wars shingles.
They did have the dogfighting scene. I forgot about that. That was fun.
Yeah.
So what was that space pirate in the other show? What was his name? I couldn't think of his name today.
Is that somebody we know? I forget, dude.
I don't know.
Characters.
You don't remember that space pirate that was in all those freaking animated shows? Oh my god! He kept coming.
I know
his name's funny as fuck, and we kept saying it. I can't remember what his name was.
I know. I can't remember either. He's like, he would always introduce himself.
No, it's not Watto. It's the other guy. I don't know. Fuck it. Forget about it. But I guess they introduced the space pirate, so I'm sure we'll see that guy too at some point. And you had the green pirate too on that spaceship. I don't know. It felt Star Warsy to me, man. I had fun. I enjoyed it. And they had those.
It was fine. It was fine.
Those little mechanics or whatever.
It is I, Hondo Onaka.
It is I, Hondo.
It wasn't Hondo.
Hondo and
Hondo.
Thank you. God damn. That was killing me. But yeah,
Hondo.
They had the little guys working on IG-11. I thought that was cute. I don't know. It felt Star Warsy to me.
It was. It was a fine episode. It was just fine. Wasn't anything great. It's an opener. It's setting up the season. Hopefully he doesn't go 4 more places asking how to get to Mandalore. Like, hopefully it's not like
that's what every episode's going to be. It's going to be him at a different destination trying to find the way. And
this is the way.
I don't understand why the Mandalorians, dude, when that creature attacked them, why isn't your first instinct not to hit your jetpack? Because that was immediately, I was like, jetpacks, let's go.
Yeah.
And instead, they're just start blasting it from the ground and running. It's like, you have a very clear-cut way to have a quick advantage here, guys. What are you doing?
Right.
And instead, they were like, let's go airborne. We've lost 7 dudes. So maybe now we should do that thing where we get the fuck away from it and it can't reach us anymore.
And then they harpoon it. And I'm like, this thing weighs 1,000 pounds. As soon as it moves its neck, you're going to be going with it, and
that was one of those action scenes where it was just there to show off action. Because again, immediately it's like this, just get away from it. It's not hunting you guys. It found you guys. Now get away from it. And you know what I mean? Like, just get the fuck away from it.
It was there to show that they need the Mandalorians' help. That's all that was.
They clearly don't want it, though, for whatever. She's always like, you have disgraced yourself. It's like, bitch, save your own ass next time. How dare you talk to me that way? Like, I know other blacksmiths, bitch. Like, you aren't the only one.
Is she the only one? She's like the only one. But She's like, man, this job is rough.
I'm so tired of her fucking self-righteous, sanctimonious tone all the fucking time. It's like, you know what? Show a little goddamn appreciation that you're not fucking dead right now.
And you know what what really probably happened with her? She probably takes her helmet off all the time. She's probably like,
since when does religion show compassion for other people? Come on, man.
Right? Like, I would also, like, I don't know. It's just it's a dumb rule. It's funny because I like the rule because it keeps his helmet on for the show. I just wish that wasn't the reason his helmet was always on, is because of his religious beliefs.
Well, he can take it off.
I'm afraid if he loses those and then he starts taking it off, I'm gonna be like, fuck. I don't want to. Don't turn it into the Pedro Pascal show. Yeah. He has 30 other shows. We don't need another one. Keep it the Mandalorian.
Dude, I'm with Rob. He can take it off now. I'd be taking it off all the time. Like, wait until you hit the living waters and then go back.
I would show up and be like, look at me, I ain't got no helmet on. Like,
this is the way.
Is it sweaty in there? You sweaty? You having trouble with your peripheral vision? Not me.
When they put
I don't have a helmet on.
When they put the helmet on the kid in the beginning, I was like, you should get a haircut before you put that on.
Right?
That's what I was thinking. It's like, it's going to be a while.
But yeah, I thought it was a fine episode. Nothing stellar, nothing bad. It was just set up for the season, and I'll be watching it I think it's another 8 episodes. I don't remember what I read. But yeah, it's fine. I love the characters.
Stuff coming out this month. Like Picard's out. You guys don't care. It's Star Trek, but I like it.
I did watch the first episode. I didn't hate it.
Oh,
I thought it was decent.
Are you already on season 3?
No, the first episode of season 1.
Oh, it's season 3.
Yeah, I know. I'm behind on a lot of stuff.
But I watched. I love Star Trek. So
I did start watching Wednesday, and
I like that too. Shawn,
I enjoy that. That's just like Harry Potter. Only the main character is like bad Hermione. Like, that's all.
I didn't say I didn't like it. I said I am not the target market. It is clearly geared towards teenagers.
That is true. I'm not either. I totally agree.
It's enjoyable.
I would.
Yeah.
It was very entertaining. But I like Tim Burton too. I'm kind of biased, maybe.
I love Tim Burton.
Yeah, I like
again,
that.
Just the show is clearly not geared towards
the cinematography and like his settings and all that.
Really so cool. You didn't watch it all, Shawn?
I watched all the first episode twice because I started it without Maggie and then she wanted to watch it, so I watched it again. And I can't remember if I finished the second episode or not, but once I got further in, and maybe it was the end of the first episode when I saw how goofy looking the monster was, I was like, okay, yeah, this isn't for adults.
Yeah,
it
was definitely goofy looking. That's for sure.
I was like, this is definitely not for me.
Did Maggie like it?
No, she's not.
Okay.
She's also not a teenage girl.
But she
was a teenage girl, but she's not anymore. So
yeah, but she still likes Harry Potter. So
she liked Harry Potter.
Oh, she doesn't. Oh, she doesn't like Harry Potter.
She made me. She read all the books, and I was going with her to see the movies. And I think we saw the first 4 in the theaters, and then she didn't want to go anymore. And she hasn't really.
I wonder why. Maybe it's because you were just ragging on her about Harry Potter the whole time. No, it wasn't
because I wanted to keep going. Because again, it was something she was into, and if somebody I love is into something, I'll go do that with them. But she didn't want to go because she knew Dumbledore died in the next one, and it made her sad.
That's brutal.
And it's funny because I saw Dumbledore die and I felt nothing. But anyway, but maybe it was better in the book.
You were so invested in that series,
Are you talking about me?
Yeah, I'm talking about you.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I don't think I think Shawn has graduated from movies. He only goes to the theater.
Well, don't you remember when I saw the 5th Harry Potter
movies? I only go to the theater.
See, this is what those of you who have no imagination have to say about me. When in reality, I'm sitting here surrounded by comic book memorabilia. I am not highbrow by any stretch of the imagination.
The theater.
But when I watched all the Harry Potter movies, I don't know if you remember this, and I think it was the 5th one. That was the first one I actually liked. And that was I saw the first 4 at the theater, and I thought the 5th one is when they actually started getting entertaining and good, when it was actually The first 4 all felt like build up
because he wasn't 10
was
anymore. He was like 17. It was a little more interesting.
Well, and they were just, they were actually moving towards a confrontation. It felt like instead of just recycling the same plot where the dark arts teacher is a bad guy. Who saw that coming? They just did that for 4 movies straight, basically.
Well, that's what the books were, dude.
Yeah,
exactly. Bad source material. It's a problem.
I thought you'd like this one more because it was reminiscent of that, but they actually had a competent lead in this one. So,
you're talking about what?
In Wednesday, yeah.
It was just okay, and also it's really hard to live up to Christina Ricci's Wednesday. She really defined that character, and
she's in it.
I know she's in it. I saw her, but she's not Wednesday, and
no, she's not.
But yeah, it's hard to look. So I still because I actually love those 2 Addams Family movies. Both of those movies, I watch those at least once a year. I think they're great. I think they're like the perfect version of the Addams Family. The show was always a comedy, and then the movies were comedy. Raul Julia's great in both of them.
He is
just everybody in those movies is fantastic. And this one, they got
Guzman.
Yeah, Louis Guzman, who I also like, but I'm just like,
I was with
really?
you. I was like, this is not. I don't know. Maybe I mean, he's just too short.
Catherine Zeta-Jones, baby's in it.
Yeah, Catherine Zeta-Jones, who can't act her way out of a fucking wet paper bag. And so she's not a great Morticia either. Angela, what was her name?
Are you going to let him speak about Catherine Zeta-Jones like that, Rob?
This guy.
Angelica Houston. She was such a fantastic Morticia. So it's just a lot to live up there. And again, because I watch the movies every year, those performances are very fresh in my mind. And yeah, it's just the school setting. That's not from. I'm 46 years old. School was well behind me. It's and just the tone of it and the writing and everything.
Dude, Spider-Man's in school all the time. What are you talking about?
I only drink tea now and go to the theater.
I love that.
Rob,
it's not my fault. You guys like shitty stuff. Like, there's nothing wrong with it.
We like good stuff too.
Like I'm the same. I literally have you guys reading the least.
I could see if we were like Ant-Man, Quantumania, best movie ever, Endgame shit. But we're not saying that, man. We're not saying that at all. We're with you
because I have you guys reading the least respected medium for storytelling, and you're like, "Oh, you're Mr. Highbrow." It's like, no, I'm reading comic books. There's nothing highbrow about me, ever. There never has been. I just like what I like.
We just can't get over where you came from, and like, we just go to a movie like twice a week, and now you're not. You're here, and we get it. You don't have anybody to go with. I understand.
It's a social experience.
But that's not a reason to shit upon every movie.
Shawn used to risk his life to get on the bus to go see a movie, dude. He would risk a severe beating from his mother.
Guess what? I wasn't risking my life to go see Ant-Man, though. Like, it was shit I wanted to see.
Oh, we saw some garbage back then. We didn't.
Yeah, but I wasn't taking the bus to go see well, hopefully it wasn't garbage. I did love Dick Tracy. I can't say it's great, but I still loved it a lot.
Just get on the app, that app called Movie Buddy, and find somebody to go see a movie with you. No,
is that a thing? That sounds like it could be a thing.
That sounds great and scary at the same time.
I know. That's what I was like, ooh, that'd be great. No, I don't think it would.
Well, Louis Guzman? You're my buddy.
All right, we're going to talk about this.
So
what do we do? Comics? Yeah.
A comic book that came out, I think it started in 1998. They only had...
That long ago?
1998. The final issue came out in 2001, issue number 9. It's called Battle Chasers by Joe Madureira, who just goes by Joe Mad, thankfully, so I don't have to do that anymore.
Mad.
Joe Mad wrote and drew the series called Battle Chasers. It is you could just say it's like fantasy, like Lord of the Rings, but they actually have another term for it. It's called arcane punk. I'm sure you've heard of like steampunk. Mm-hmm. Arcane punk is similar, in that you have magic, you have some modern tech, a little bit of modern technology, you have magic, but then you have like these war golems and stuff as well, like these robots.
I love that I know the phrase war golem or the name now. Like if anyone ever says war golem, I'll know what they're talking about. And I just love that. I'm like, I love this.
Is that from this comic? Is this your first time hearing that?
Yeah. I'm saying, what I'm saying is I love this podcast and I love like learning new shit all the time. It's great.
Well, you knew what a golem was, right? You knew what a golem was, right?
Yeah, like a stone golem, but these are like metallic.
Steve,
robotic.
I'm asking a question.
No, the only golem I knew was from fucking Lord of the Rings.
No, that was his name though. That wasn't a golem.
Well, okay, well that's new to me.
Okay.
So I just know war golem and Calibretto look cool as fuck. I'm sorry, go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
So Battle Chasers, it only ended up having about 9 issues spread out over like 4 years, which is not a great delivery schedule for a comic book. Joe Mad went on to create his own video game company, created a series called Darksiders, which I think I bought Darksiders for Steve years ago and tried to make him play it.
Yeah, after reading this comic, and I went on Wikipedia to learn more about it. And when I heard that he went on to do Darksiders, I was like, that's it. That is it. Like I was reading the comic and I was like, I know this looks like something that I know this look and everything. And then when he said Darksiders, I was like, oh my God, that's it. Like it's that video game in this comic,
And it's and I love the Darksiders series, especially the first 2 games, underrated series. It's basically Zelda meets God of War. If you like those 2, the good God of Wars, not the last 2 that have come out that are just fucking long ass fucking movies, because that's what Sony puts out nowadays. I'm talking about the first 3 God of War games where you actually got to kill shit and not feel bad about it and have a sad pouty party like the way Kratos does now. It was fun to murder things back in the day. Back in my day.
But
anyway, yeah, Darksiders 1 and 2 especially, it's very much like Zelda type dungeons and God of War type combat. Perfect. And then the Joe Mad art style. So what Steve's talking about when he says, I recognize this, he has a very distinct art style that's very anime influenced, but very Americanized at the same time. It reminds me very much of like old Street Fighter artwork, which was, Japanese video game. And he clearly came up on that same kind of stuff and, put his own flavor on it basically. And so it's very stylized, which I love. I've talked about that a lot. It's very stylized artwork.
Did you read any of the I read that he did some X-Men too? Like, did you read any of that? Like that art?
I wasn't into X-Men back then. I've seen a lot of the art from that era though.
Was it
my
similar?
Introduction? Oh yeah.
Okay.
He was my actual introduction to Joe Mad though, and I didn't know he was going to go on and do great things, was actually in 1993. The very first Deadpool series came out and they put him on art. So that was my introduction to Deadpool. It was my introduction to Joe Mad.
Nice.
And that's part of the reason I fell in love with Deadpool is because his take on Deadpool was so fucking cool looking that I just liked the character, red snake eyes basically. And so and then, he went on to do X-Men for a few years. And then created Battle Chasers, like I said, created Darksiders. Then now they have a video game of Battle Chasers called Battle Chasers Night War, which is a throwback to like 90s era JRPGs. Like if you played like Final Fantasy 2 and 3 and Chrono Trigger and stuff, it plays similar to those.
Yes, I bought that on Xbox for $8. If the listener wants to buy that too, it's really cheap. So,
and it's on every platform. You can get on PC. There's a phone version. You can get on the Switch.
The Switch is like $38 though. I was like, Xbox. That is.
That is Switch pricing. I don't understand. They rarely lower prices over there. I don't know why. Even on non-Nintendo made games. So anyway, Battle Chasers. So this is what's funny though, is I signed this like 2 weeks ago or whatever. And then yesterday articles start popping up everywhere. There was a big press release from Joe Mad, who I follow on Instagram and stuff, but he's not on social media a lot. Issue number 10 is coming out June 14th. They are continuing the series. Over 20 years later, they're going to pick up. We're going to get the next issue. So it's just by luck that I happened to pick this comic book, and now
Daddy needs a new yacht.
Yeah, I was reading the story. I was like, this ended kind of not fulfilling.
Yeah. And we've been waiting for him to finish the series for years, and we're just like, I guess we're never getting another issue. But June 14th.
Didn't he try? Out. Didn't he say he was going to try and do something years ago, like issue 10 years ago or something?
There was, they did like a Kickstarter. I think it was for the Battle Chasers, but they did the Battle Chasers Kickstarter. I think the people who helped fund that were going to get issue 10 as part of their incentive packages. And again, that was, Battle Chasers came out 2017. So we got a lot. So there was hints back then. And I remember back then I was like, oh, sweet, he's going to finish Battle Chasers. Flash forward to now, it's like, oh, he's not going to finish Battle Chasers. But look, they got cover art. They got interior art they've released. He's not doing the interior art, though. He's got another guy, Ludo Lullaby, doing it, but who also does some amazing looking stuff.
Is that video game supposed to advance the story in any way, or is it just separate?
No, I think it's it's not a prequel. I think it's like a side story.
Okay.
I don't think it actually. I haven't actually finished the game. I'm pretty far into it. I've started it on like 2 different platforms. I have a memory on Switch and on the Xbox. But yeah, so Battle Chasers, it's like Dungeons and Dragons.
I don't see you liking this. You don't like any.
Really?
Yeah, because you don't like magic and you don't like. Yeah,
I don't
anime.
So let me clarify my
my
magic stuff. There are exceptions, like Lord of the Rings.
Evidently,
don't mind the magic. Star Wars, I obviously don't mind space magic. So there are exceptions. I guess I don't like it when it's. What's that?
That's the Force. That's not magic.
It's magic. It's just magic. It's another term for magic.
Damn religious cults.
There are exceptions. I guess I don't like it when it's like the main thing, just kind of like same thing with like vampires.
Okay, I get that.
When it's like, because then it's like, that's what I focus on. And I'm like, okay, well, how do you conjure the energy? So like with this, this is something I actually like about this. So they have magic in this, right? But what they need a resource for it. They need mana to do magic. So like that's part of
just like a video game.
Right. And so like to me that makes sense. It's like, okay, I can do X amount of magic. You know what I mean? It's if it's just a thought in your head, well
then why don't you like Green Lantern? He's got to recharge his ring.
I do like Green Lantern. I didn't like the Green Lantern comic we read.
Oh, okay.
I like the
okay, gotcha.
But yeah, I'm not a huge.
No, I get it because this comic book had magic, but it also had technology. It had sword fighting. Yeah. It kind of had werewolves. A little bit of everything, and magic wasn't the main thing from it.
Right.
But between magic and anime style, I was kind of like, why did you like this comic?
That's the other thing too, is like I like anime style art.
The artwork is pretty cool, and I'm not a big anime.
Hey, he liked it for Monica, that's why.
Who doesn't like Red Monica? But going back even to the 80s, like seeing Akira, seeing Robotech. The first time I saw Robotech was the first time it's even in Voltron. That's anime.
Oh,
that style was like real flashy and cool looking to me, and we called it Japanimation back then. But so I always liked the style. I think it has more to do with how they tell stories and stuff. But recently I've been trying to get into anime, and I've actually found some stuff I like. I don't like when there's like a generic, because there is a generic anime style that I just don't like, that where you can't tell the difference between the artists. And I don't like that, but I like their, I like Takazaki or Takashi Okazaki's artwork stands out. Who else is there?
I'm completely dumb.
Akira,
what you just said. Like you hate anime so much. Like I'm shocked. Like you found something you like. Well, this is awesome.
Well, that's the thing is my hate comes from trying for years and years to like it.
Yeah.
So because again, when a lot of people like something, I want to like it too. I want, it's natural human inclination to be like, what's that over there?
But you hated it so much. I never thought you'd delve back in to try and find anything.
I keep doing it. You could ask Maggie how many times I bought Grand Theft Auto 4. She'll come over here and punch me in the fucking head. If I don't like something, I assume there's something wrong with me. So I will continue to revisit it. But yeah, Takashi Okazaki, who did Afro Samurai, which I actually like. Akira Toriyama, who created Dragon Ball and did the artwork for Chrono Trigger, the video game. I can't remember the guy who did Akira. what his name is off the top of my head. But anyway, there's a few artists that stand out. And then a lot of it is just like a house style that I don't really like, though. Anyway, also anime influence is cool, too, because the one thing I've always liked about anime is their portrayal of action has always been really cool. Even if the writing sucks and the acting sucks, anime influenced the Matrix. That's why we got such cool scenes in the Matrix. It's because of anime and manga. So it's not that I hate it. I just, the stuff I've read, I'm just like, man, these stories are terrible. They're like for children.
I think the only anime I've ever watched is the Animatrix. Now that you said that.
Okay. But again, like Street Fighter was a huge game for me back in the day. That's all. It's technically anime style or manga style character design, but again, it had its own flavor to it. It wasn't that house style. But this is pretty stock when it comes to the characters. You have like the lone swordsman guy with the dark past. You got the cranky wizard. You have the hot Red Sonja type chick whose name is Red Monica.
I've never thought about buying one. Like, I was like, every time I go to buy a statue, there's like thousands of these just big breasted women statues. I'm like, who is buying this? And then I read Battle Chaser. I was like, maybe I should get a Red Monica statue. That's only $600.
Doesn't it feel weird though to have, because dude, they had this one guy I follow on YouTube who's a statue collector. For a long time, he was doing a giveaway for a Deja Thoris statue. Deja Thoris is from John Carter of Mars, and she basically is nude. She's like 99% nude on this statue, and I'm just like, I like that statue. I like hot naked chicks. I just can't imagine putting that in my house. No, it just seems weird.
I'm like, how do I explain this to my family?
Did you see the movie John Carter?
I've fallen asleep every time I tried to watch that fucking thing.
The woman that played her, right? She was.
I never got that far. I never got that far into it. I don't.
Gosh, if that statue looks anything like her, I don't know.
This statue's hot. You would rub one out to this statue, I guarantee you.
Everybody shut up.
That's Maggie's input. I thought you had your noise canceling earphones.
I took what you were talking about.
Maggie, go in the other room. Sean's got a statue.
Steve's requested you leave the room so I can talk more about dirty statues. But yeah, Red Monica statue. Like it's funny because that one is just like her proportions are just like even more insane than your average comic book female. Like they're just ridiculous.
A little bit exaggerated.
And then you have the little girl Gully, who's kind of like I guess she's like the audience proxy kind of thing. She's like new to all this, but she inherits her dad's gauntlets that give her super strength and nigh invulnerability, basically. And they go off on a quest.
We're going on an adventure.
Yeah, I can't believe you like this. You
can't believe I liked it.
You just said quest.
Yeah, I love video games and stuff. This is right up my alley.
Yeah, I guess
this is who I am.
It was cool. You hate everything now. I don't know. Maybe that's.
I mean, it was cool. They go. There's like some escaped convicts or something, and they're trying to.
There's like a big prison break.
Yeah,
which has been arranged by. You got the nefarious forces.
Yeah. There's some
the first couple issues, I was like, it was kind of all over the place, and then it kind of settled in. I think I started to enjoy it a little bit more as we went.
Yeah.
The story got a little more.
And then as it started to get good, it just ends. Like, because again, he didn't finish it, and then as you're starting to learn more about Garrison and stuff, which I love. Garrison has such a generic design, but I also love it. He's just like kind of reminds me of like Ash from Evil Dead. Big strong chin, dark hair, big ass fucking sword.
There's a main bad guy in this, and we find out it's Gully's brother. And then we find out that
it's not Gully's brother though. It was
half brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is why her half brother, whatever, was completely rejected by Aramis. Like why?
From what we've been told so far.
But I didn't understand why. Like he didn't give two shits about that kid.
Well, here's the thing. Well, that I don't either, and I don't have an answer for that. My thinking, and again, this is pure speculation, is that we're only getting one side of the story.
Okay.
And maybe that wasn't his father. Maybe he was just told that was his father.
Okay.
I don't know. Or maybe his father saw some darkness in him, and it's kind of like Umbrella Academy, where they're just like, he's just trying to suppress that particular kid.
Well, he wasn't worthy because he lost his hands. So
yeah, that was a good scene. That was a good scene. Like her father left these magic gloves or whatever that Gully gauntlets.
Yeah, the gloves.
That Gully was wearing, and at some point she loses the gauntlets, and he tries to put them on, and the gauntlets just chop off his hands. I was like, oh, that was awesome. Yeah. All right, so hopefully issue 10 will resolve some of my issues, my questions.
And then issue 11 I think is due out in like 21, 27. I think they said is the release date on that one.
So I'll be dead.
But yeah, to me this is a 3 out of 4 star series. To Rob's point, it's a little jumbled towards the beginning as they're trying to kind of sort everybody out, get every character kind of defined. But it really starts coming together about halfway through.
And then it just once it started,
and then like as they're like building towards something, and it's just
everybody.
over.
And what was that? What was that scene with Monica and Garrison? That was an issue that they were just hot and heated for each other.
Well, that was like when they were kids. That was, I'm guessing that was a backup story in one of the comics.
Okay, so that was just a bonus. That wasn't an actual issue, right?
Like I said, I think it was a backup story, just kind of showing you giving you a brief glimpse of what their history was.
Okay.
But yeah, not really central to the plot at all, from what I could. Just like they had that other little Monica story where she steals the dagger. They give like the history of that knife she stole. That again was just a little, probably just a backup story that they do in comics sometimes.
I love the story with the war golems where like the humans, create the war golems to do their dirty work. And then, they kind of get too powerful and they're like, all right, we have to destroy everything we created.
Right.
And that
it's the Matrix, right?
Exactly.
Battlestar Galactica.
and that Calibretto is the only surviving war golem that we know of. Yeah. So I thought that was cool.
What would you rate this comic, Rob?
2.5, 3.
Okay.
It was good. I mean,
I love the artwork, dude. The artwork is
good.
It's my favorite, like that flashy, big, it just reminds me of the 90s comics. So much action, all the exaggerated looking characters, and a lot of splash pages. Loved it. Love the artwork.
2.5 because it just ended. I don't like to be. I got to knock it 5.5 points for that. So it's not getting 3. Can't do it.
Steve?
Yeah, it's a solid 3 for me. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the villains. There was one monster they came up against that was really cool. It like revived the dead and use the dead to get bigger. And I was like, man, this is really cool. I'm enjoying this. And I did like Garrison's past, like his wife had been killed or whatever, and he tried to put down the sword, but can't fight your destiny. So he's a badass. I'd love to see more of him.
Sword was in the tombstone.
Yeah, it was like I guess I was reading something where they were kind of referring to that sword as like the sword from Thundercats, the sword of omens. Yeah. So I guess
I wouldn't be surprised if that was an influence.
Yeah,
it wouldn't surprise me at all.
Because it did like the part of the sword would move during certain things, like on the hilt or something. I don't know.
Now, Steve, will you be buying issue 10? That is the question.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. I mean, it was a fucking cliffhanger. I'm like, what happened? Like, I need to know more.
You read this at almost the perfect time.
Yeah.
Real quick
it's
here.
Like I don't have to wait 6 years for it now.
20 years.
I went to the comic store and I don't even know where to look for this fucking comic.
Were you going to buy it?
Yeah, I was going to look at it.
It would be a back issue. It would be in the back issue bin.
Yeah, it's in the back issue of Unknown Shit. And I was like, fuck this. They make it too hard.
Well, first of all, not everybody's even going to have it. It is, despite it being 20-some years old and not well known, it actually is kind of popular amongst comic book fans. it's a story I usually read about once a year because I do like it. I love the artwork. And so it's not going to be easy to find anywhere except for eBay, most likely. And also depending on how the comic store is set up, a lot of them, they'll divide their DC, they'll have a DC section back issues, a Marvel section of back issues, and then they'll have like an independent section of back issues. Other places go more granular than that even. They'll break down their independent section by independent publisher. I think that's too much, in my opinion.
Well, if
I guess that's one way to do it.
Goddamn drawers, it'd make it a lot easier.
If they what?
Like put a little label, A to Z, A to B, C, Marvel.
They
Marvel,
do.
Gotcha. Most places do that.
Yeah.
Most places have little divider cards.
Behind a counter for 20 minutes watching TV. Fucking get a labeler, for Christ's sake.
Rob's looking for Image Comics in the Marvel section.
I'm trying, but you're not making it easy.
Hey, dude, dude, that's awesome, man. Like, you're in a comic book store. That's sweet.
Honestly, the easiest way to find back issues is just to ask the clerk, because they honestly will typically just know.
I didn't want to disturb him from watching TV.
Dude, you've been to enough comic shops by now. You should know that most of those guys love to interact. They like their job, so if somebody's asking them a comic book question, they'll be more than happy to answer it typically, because they're not working at Whole Foods or whatever. Like, they're actually into their job.
I'm gonna buy a fucking labeler machine. God damn it!
He's like, yes, I do know a lot about war golems. Let me point you in the right direction.
So you can buy this. You can get it on Kindle. The whole collection. It's actually 10 issues. There's like a prequel issue, issue 0. So there's 10 issues out collected in the Battle Chasers anthology. If you want to check it out before issue 10 drops, we actually have a date on it. I think it's actually going to be real. It's going to materialize after 22 years.
What's with you and like picking comics? Do you like with Hawkeye? You picked that run right before Hawkeye came out, and now this is. Do you have some kind of premonition or something?
No, it's very weird. I don't know why that happened. I honestly, I didn't know this announcement was coming.
I'm just saying, people have been waiting for this for 20 years, and you picked the week before.
And I told Maggie yesterday, we were sitting on the couch. I was like, and I showed her the article, and she didn't give a shit. But I was just like, I had to explain to her. I was like, I picked this as a comic 2 weeks ago. I had no idea that they were going to make this announcement.
Man, come on now. You know Joe Mad gave you the heads up.
I wish.
Me and Mads
now I look like
this.
I look like I have the inside track. I have no inside track. Nobody saw this announcement coming. Like I said, the last thing I heard about it was back when the Kickstarter campaign for the video game was going on 5 years ago, 5-6 years ago, whenever that was. And so I had no idea they were going to make this announcement, but I will absolutely take credit for it. You're welcome. I made this happen. I manifested this.
Good job. Good job.
I found a tweet the other day, and it hasn't manifested itself 100%, but I have a tweet from last April, where I'm like, my tweet is like, I'm starting a rumor that James Gunn is making a Lobo movie. And all the next few tweets will be about this Lobo movie. And I just made up shit. I was like, Jason Momoa will be Lobo, be written by James Gunn. And now look where I'm like, dude,
you're so close.
Even if he just produces the movie and Jason Momoa is in it, I'm taking 100% credit for making that happen with my tweet from April 2022. That was well before they announced that James Gunn was going to take over the DC universe. All we had at that point was Peacemaker and Suicide Squad. We had no inkling that they were going to put him in charge of the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
So
I think you have some kind of superpower.
He tweeted.
That's my superpower.
Yeah.
You find a way to monetize it now.
Go pick out some lottery numbers for my dad.
now make a premonition of Ant-Man being better.
It's not about Ant-Man. It's just about Marvel making better movies like they used to. Back in the day type movies. Dude, I have another useless skill that Maggie gets so mad at me. I am real, and I don't know why, but like we'll be watching a show, and I can usually tell you how tall the actors are. Not from memory, just from looking at them in relation to things. Like within an inch. Usually I'm like spot on. I'm like, oh, that guy's probably 5'10". And she'll look it up.
How tall is Paul Rudd?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to say 5'11" or 6 feet tall.
No, he's short. He's short. He's short.
He's like
you think he's shorter than that? Let's find out. Let's see if.
Oh, dude, he's definitely shorter than 5'11" for sure.
5'9", 5'10".
Dude, he's short as fuck.
5'10". So says he's 5'10".
Wow.
I go to
So
the
yeah, like I said,
theater,
within an
Steve.
inch.
Oh,
Within an inch.
dude, he's in heels when they measured that.
So, but I just good at that. I don't know why.
That was pretty impressive. You're like that guy
So-
at the carnival, and they're like, "I guess
Right.
guess your birthday and your
But it's-
fucking weight."
So and again, it's a useless skill though. What am I going to do with it? Like,
I think there's a way to
It's totally-
I think there's a way to monetize that for sure.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you can do it.
All right, what else did I have? I thought there was something else that
Next
happened.
week,
or that
hey,
so I
came
can
out.
go
I-
eat.
I just want to say, dude, The Last of Us is awesome, and you should watch it. And it's not just a zombie flick. There's a lot of good character development in that show, and it's really good. And that's all I'm gonna say. I wish you guys would watch it.
That's all right. I'm gonna wait 3 years because
Right.
all this times I've told you to watch shit and you've
Right.
still
Hey,
haven't
man.
watched it.
I'm just saying, if you want to watch something
I-
good,
You know,
I just
I don't
don't
like
like the
scary
property.
shit, so I
okay,
don't really want to
know,
watch it.
I know. You don't like the
So
Neil-
he's the target audience,
yes,
not me.
I get it. You
I-
don't like the Neil Druckerman guy or whatever his name is.
Yeah, I don't like the property itself. I just think it's boring. I think it's a retread.
Okay.
I don't
well,
even know what it's about. I'd never heard of it.
Okay. Well, you're missing a good show. That's all I'll
All
say.
right, maybe
Think
I'll
it's
watch
like a post-apocalyptic Mandalorian.
I know
Basically,
now.
it's a guy and a kid. He's got to get her to a place.
Yeah. Yes, we know. We know your opinion on stuff you haven't seen. Yes, we're good. We're well.
I played
well,
the game, motherfucker. I know what it's about. I played the game. I played the source
It
material.
deviates from the game.
It fucking better because the game was terrible.
Okay.
So it fucking better.
That's what I'm
Because
trying to tell
the
you.
Writing,
It's a good
the
show.
writing in the game is awful.
I'm trying to tell
And
you.
everybody praises it as being amazing. And it's like, have you not seen a good TV show? Have you not seen The Sopranos or
It's good.
Breaking
So
Bad?
what are we doing next week? What's on the agenda?
All right. So
Or next
Man,
3 weeks? If
I struggled over it because I was going to pick an anime. And then I was like, I don't know.
Oh
if I'm ready for that yet.
you
dude!
could
I don't
just
think
back off.
I don't think you're ready for that. We're ready for that. You're not ready.
I'm ready for that.
I'm not ready.
I've seen all the animes.
I don't
I
want
know what's going on.
Mm.
But this movie that I saw, I don't know, it's probably like a 7-year-old movie or so that I think I tried to get Steve to watch years ago. But we're actually going to watch the sequel. We're not going to watch the first one. You can watch the first one. I don't give a shit. First one's very good too, but
Black
we're going to
Sheep.
watch the. There's a sequel to Black Sheep.
No, Tommy Boy. That's basically the sequel. They don't say that,
No,
but it's the sequel.
It's that's not the same.
It's totally.
Those are different characters.
No,
it's the same actor.
It's the same movie again.
I mean, it is, but it's not a sequel per se. A spiritual successor, maybe.
You could put 6
Not a
packs of soda in here.
So it's called The Raid 2. It is on Netflix. It is
Action.
it's action martial arts. Steve, don't watch it with the kids though. It's a little violent.
All right.
And Aiden might like it though. Yeah, it's called The Raid 2. You feel free to watch the first one or read a summary. I could summarize the first one. Did you guys ever see Dredd, the Judge Dredd movie, the newer one with Carl Urban?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very similar to that. He's like a police officer. He gets stuck in a building and he has to fucking martial arts his way out of the building, basically.
All right.
That's the first one. And that character is in the second one. And it's like I said, it's very much worth watching. But the second one ups the ante on the martial arts fight scenes. So we're going to watch the second one and discuss that.
What year was this made?
Somewhere between like 2013, 2016, something like that. I'm not sure. It's not very old.
Okay, so it's post Matrix.
Post Matrix, yes.
Okay.
It's like imagine I don't know how I describe it. It's more like if John Wick were violent, is what this movie is.
What?
So
They
yeah,
showed the violence in John Wick.
yeah. John Wick to me is action. It's not violence. I think there's a difference there. This is like a violent version of John Wick, is how I would categorize.
Okay, our
this.
definitions of violence are different.
Well, when it comes to viewing, he's shooting people in the head, but you don't you don't see it really. You just see, you know what I mean? You don't see what happens. It's all very bloodless.
I watched him stab a guy with a pencil. That was pretty violent.
I mean, I'm not going to say it's not violent, but
A little more
I think
gore.
if you see this movie, I feel like if you
gore.
watch this movie, you'll be like, yeah, I can see where he's coming from. After you watch this one, you'll be like, yeah, okay, it'll make sense to you.
Okay. Okay. I'll watch it.
But yeah, I don't think of it as when I think of a violent movie, I think of like gore and, bones breaking and stuff like that. Like violence, not just action.
Yeah.
And I like both. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining about John Wick or The Matrix. This is just different. It's a different take on it. But yeah, so watch that as soon as possible, and we'll come back next week and talk about The Raid 2. The first Raid is called the Raid Redemption for some reason. I don't know why it has a subtitle, but The Raid 2 is on Netflix. I don't know if the first one's available anywhere.
Yes. So we're watching movies on our comic podcast. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
To keep Rob on the podcast. Well, actually, let me clarify.
No, that's it. Movies. Let's end it now. Goodbye, listener. Thanks for listening.
We're watching good movies on the podcast. So
yeah, Barbed Wire was great. Yeah, and that got like 250 hits. So.
What's that?
I say, yeah, Barbed Wire was great. That's a classic.
Hey, I watch Barbed Wire over Ant-Man any day.
No, you just said good movies. You said we watch good movies.
We do, and I'll take Barbed Wire over Ant-Man. It had heart. It's not just product, and they didn't have all the money in the world to make it good like Disney does.
I
have higher if you have a bigger budget, I do have higher expectations.
That heart,
that's just all there is to
that heart was not in rhythm. It was not beating. It was a dead heart.
Needed a pacemaker.
That's just like your opinion, man.
But Pam Anderson's hot, so.
And I think she was having a really good time in it too,
except for Rob.
But no,
and Rob's like, no.
Rob's like, no, not good enough for me.
Catherine Zeta-Jones, man.
Who's hotter, Pam Anderson or Red Monica?
Really?
I think they're the same person.
Like
Pam they're basically the same.
She's real. Steve, you okay?
One is red.
One has red hair. That's about the only difference.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I'm bullshitting though. Barbed Wire is not a good movie. Don't watch that. I hadn't seen it yet though, and I wanted to watch it. So it was of interest. Ant-Man is of no interest. It's formulaic.
All right, everybody.
Rob is really hungry. He's like, "Fuck good conversation. We're out of here.
We're getting to 2 hours here. This is
no. 2 hours.
What are you gonna do, old man?
Rob spends 12 hours a day fucking under fucking houses, and he's like, "This is hard. I don't like talking." So, all right. We'll be back next week.
We get out before his shit craps out anyway.
Right? Thanks. That's what I'm worried about.
Thanks for listening.
All right.
See you.